It's rewind time.
The 2025 season was unforgettable. From races that were so boring you could have done your laundry mid-stint to races that were absolute cinema. We ended the season going into the last race, 3 drivers in the title contention. Lando Norris, Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri tied on 7 wins each and separated by just 16 points heading into Abu Dhabi. McLaren won the Constructors' Champion already in the season. From McLaren dominance, Williams actually back on the podium multiple times, to rookies performing so well, I thought they had raced in Formula 1 for years. We also saw Sir Lewis Hamilton driving in the red for the first time. That set the Ferrari fans to their natural habitat delusion. And the rookie lineup was stacked. Kimi Antonelli, Oliver Burman, Gabriel Bortoleto, Isaac Hadjar and Jack Doohan for a bit. Liam Lawson getting a Red Bull seat and then getting demoted. And of course, the Rookie of the Year, Alonso. So let's go through this season race by race. Sit back, relax, and let's start. Oh boy, what a start we had in Melbourne. Proper chaos the whole race through, as Lando took pole, and the race, I thought it was a drifting event. 6 drivers didn't even see the checkered flag. The track was so slippery from the rain, and Oscar Piastri even drifted to the gravel and got himself back to the race, and he was able to score points from that race. That was absolutely amazing. In the end, Lando held Max by under a second for the first win of this season. The McLaren was already looking like they had a rocket ship, and everyone was realizing that this season wouldn't be an easy season for Max and Red Bull. Then we rolled into China, and for about 24 hours, Ferrari fans believed again for a comeback. Hamilton took sprint pole and then came out to win the sprint, and suddenly social media was filled memes that we are so back. Then came Sunday. Both Ferraris finished P5 and P6, and then Stewart took one more look at the plank and the weight of the cars. What was it? A double disqualification. Also, Pierre Gasly got disqualified from that race, and McLaren took their first 1-2 with Piastri ahead of Norris. Instead of Ferrari is back, it turned into how is McLaren so dominant this season. Next up, we had Suzuka, one of the most iconic tracks on the calendar, and where Max Verstappen decided to take his first win of the season. He took it by style and shoved Norris under the grass and left him behind. Other major thing from this race was that Kimi Antonelli led his first laps in a Mercedes for the first time in his life, and even bagging the fastest lap of the race at 19 in his first season. Then the circus headed to Bahrain, where Oscar Piastri decided that winning once wasn't enough and took his second win of the season, and McLaren first ever win at Sakhir. Russell tried a brave strategy, saved his tires and had some electrical issues with his car, and was able to hold Lando Norris behind, finishing less than a second ahead. Verstappen had one of his worst weekends and dragged the Red Bull home only in 6th. And the drive of the day belonged to Oliver Burman, who took his Haas from P20 on the grid to P10 and scoring a point, while Carlos Sainz was the only actual retirement after a clash with Yuki Tsunoda, and Nico Hülkenberg later got disqualified for plank wear. Saudi Arabia kept the Papaya army happy. Piastri won again, but Verstappen chased him the whole race but couldn't find a way past, and Leclerc grabbed his first podium for Ferrari this season, and Norris had to settle for P4 this time. The big drama of this race was Tsunoda and Gasly getting wiped out early, and the rest of the race was mainly some overtakes and driving DRS train. By the end of Jeddah, Piastri had a 10-point lead over Norris, and Max was already struggling behind. Then we crossed the Atlantic to Miami. If you're feeling a team here, you're not wrong. Another McLaren 1-2, Piastri ahead of Norris again, and just casually building that title lead. Max hovered in the mix but never looked like winning, and the rest of the field, they were just a backdrop for drone cameras. It was the phase of the season where it felt like the championship was going to Oscar no matter what happened. Imola. the first race that really gave Red Bull some spirit that there's a way to win this championship. Piastri put it on pole, but Max Verstappen launched like a rocket and sent around Tamburello on lap 1 and never let go of his lead, giving Red Bull their 400th Grand Prix win. The McLarens Norris and Piastri filled out the podium, and Hamilton picked up a solid P4. Antonelli, unfortunately, in his home race, ended up in an early DNF. Then came the race that many of us Formula fans usually skip, the Monaco Grand Prix, and I think that could have been the option this year too. Lando Norris took the win and it was massively important to him, but hey, Leclerc took a podium in his home Grand Prix. That was great to see. Piastri in P3, giving McLaren yet again another double podium and tightening the title fight at the top. Alonso and Gasly were the only retirees from the race, and the rookies treaded the barriers quite well, and Hamilton was able to drag his Ferrari to P5, which for Ferrari in 2025 counts as a driver's championship. Monaco really gave Norris that confidence boost he needed for the season. Oscar made a comeback in Spain and took the win, and he led from pole, managed the tires and took the win. Norris P2 and Leclerc P3, another podium for Leclerc. Verstappen ended up in P10 after a 10-second time penalty for colliding with George Russell. Not exactly what he wanted from this race, but hey, he had a bad season this year. Further down the field, Berman copped a time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage, and Lance Stroll DNF'd from the race. Piastri left Barcelona 10 points clear. There was nothing to do to stop Oscar. Canadian GP. This Grand Prix really shook McLaren fans and the team. In wet-dry race, George Russell took a brilliant win for Mercedes, just few tenths ahead of Verstappen. Behind them, Norris crashed into his own teammate Piastri that sparked drama in the McLaren garage. Piastri still ended up extending his lead slightly because Norris' mistake hurt Lando more than it hurt him. But McLaren understood the championship fight could result in their teammates crashing. Kimi Antonelli drove a super drive and took his first ever Formula 1 podium. Austria was a comeback for Norris. He took the win in Red Bull Ring, and Papaya Cars taking another 1-2 in the championship. Still, Oscar left Spielberg leading the championship, but the championship felt like it was going to start swinging back towards Lando a little. Antonelli, after his superb race weekend in Canada, blocked up and slammed in the side of Max's car, taking him out of the race that cost Max so valuable points coming to the end of the season. Then came Silverstone. Lando Norris won his home Grand Prix in front of a Silverstone crowd that was basically one massive papaya wall, with Piastri finishing behind him for yet another McLaren 1-2. The shock result was Nico Hülkenberg with an amazing strategy dragging the Sauber to the podium. Hamilton finishing 4th for Ferrari. Still no win, still no podium all year, but at least there was something respectable at home. Max Verstappen looked uncomfortable in 5th, spinning in the safety car restart. For the British fans, though, this was wonderful. Norris finally winning at home. Then came Spa, one of the most legendary tracks in Formula 1. Oscar Piastri took the W again, Norris finishing just few seconds behind him. Again, a McLaren 1-2, and Leclerc took 3rd for Ferrari. And I think Ferrari fans are too depressed right now. I think Leclerc took so many podiums this year. Verstappen had to settle for 4th this time, and I think it was really bad for Max, as he has looked so comfortable in Spa and he likes the track so much. After Spa, it was quite clear that the championship started slipping away from Max Verstappen. Hungary flipped it around again. Lando Norris gambled on a one-stop strategy that most people thought was insane, and he just made it work, soaking up huge pressure from Piastri in the closing laps to take the win by less than a second. Piastri still led the championship afterwards, but there was only 9 points now between them. Behind them, Russell, Verstappen and the rest of the grid tried to keep up, but the main story was the McLarens, who were fighting each other on the last lap. Fortunately for non-McLaren fans, this was their last 1-2 of the season. Then we headed to Zandvoort, the home Grand Prix of Max Verstappen. This was the last place Piastri took a win before his later drought. He beat Verstappen at his own party in the Dutch sand dunes, while Norris had one of those nightmare weekends when his car motor decided to break. We thought the Formula 1 season was over after Zandvoort, but Red Bull found upgrades and Max Verstappen was able to fight against the McLarens later that season. So make sure you subscribe and put your notifications on so you don't miss the next video.